Hey everyone, Griffin Benger here, and the PokerStars Players Championship is finally back for a second edition. So there's never been a better time to go over some of my hands in my deep run in the first ever PSPC back in 2019. Now, in this video, I want to focus on how we break down pre-flop ranges to help us make the best decisions with potentially millions of dollars on the line. So this is a great place to start, where I have these two queens facing a raise from another gun from Schwartz, an all-in from Oliveira for 715,000, and I'm sitting there with the queens with almost 2 million chips. Now, you might be looking at this hand and thinking, okay, well, this is a three-way all-in, not much range breakdown to do here. Well, that's actually not the case, because this is a great example of Schwartz taking a much more conservative line than you'd expect to see, preserving his equity in the tournament, facing two all-ins, recognizing that he, only really breaks even, or maybe even slightly losing to my reshove range at the cutoff here, and deciding, you know what, I'm going to hold on to these chips. I think in general, as a rule, you need to be, putting most of the chips in with ace-king suited, especially at this stage when you're not particularly deep. But, Schwartz, a very accomplished and capable player, probably has a lot of trust in his, game going forward in the last 36 players of this tournament. But it would have been in his best interest to stick around as Oliveira pops off that ace on the ace 8-8 flop. Ace-king looking like it's going to take everything down unless a jack or a queen hits the river. I try to get out that imaginary sniper rifle, see if I can pop off a lady, but does not happen. And Oliveira wins an absolutely huge pot with just 36 players remaining in the event. In this next hand here, a little bit of an easy one when it comes to how do you breaking down your range and, what you should do with ace-king. Listen, the big blind's 80K. I have 620K. I'm going all in, right? Well, the one interesting thing is, the way you see me leaving 20K behind. This is something of a tendency that players do really deep in tournaments, in the money, when there are pay jumps. Sometimes there might be an opportunity, someone else is all in on another table. Maybe you can use a time bank chip here or there. It's something that's within the rules. It's lightly frowned upon maybe, but it's something that, everyone is doing because it makes sense in the moment, and that's why you guys kind of have to do that. Once I did put out everything but the 20K, I looked around, maybe saw that there was no reason to waste anyone else's time, and so far, so good with the king on the turn here against Shakurchi. And I don't think this would be a video if the river was a 10. And it keeps me alive with 25 players remaining. Now I've been able to gain some chips. I'm all the way up to 2.8 million. This was talking about ranges, I think this is a bit of a mistake from Marsh. A bit too loose with the ace-3 suited, no fold equity. We talked about the big blind being, 80K. So putting in these 6 big blinds here after my under the gun raise, I think it is a little bit short-handed. So, maybe we're only 6-handed. Maybe he thinks he's breaking even against my range, but you always run the risk of running into a better hand like this ace-queen. And also, even if I just had the king-jack, I'm still, 45% against those hands. So it is going to send him to the rail and me up to above average, which is exactly where I want to be. Jump to 16 players left, and a very interesting all-in here between Bhutan and myself. As you can see, Bhutan is also checking the rest of the field, seeing if he has to wait a little longer, maybe burn a time bank chip to try to make a pay jump. But he is all in, and I've actually played with Bhutan in a 1K buy-in tournament back at home in Montreal. So someone that I have experience with playing for much less money. So it's so funny to be in a situation like this where, we're playing a buy-in that was worth almost first prize in the event that we played back in Montreal. And I send him to the rail, and things are going very smoothly. Now, back to the range discussion here. This seems like, okay, my opponent's shoved. We don't know he has ace-9. At the hijack here with ace-queen on 15 big blinds, it's certainly probably a call, but it's never easy because you have to consider there's 4 players behind you. Shakurchi's range here. You're not gonna be dominating a ton of hands. It's not like he's gonna be shoving the ace-9 off. So does have the ace-9 suited. We dodged all the players behind, but as he makes a little comment there, feeling confident about this board as we're near 50-50. Great turn card for me. And is this the spot where I hold with 15 left and I'm up to 9 million chips? No! the wrong 9. Not 9 million chips, the 9 of spades. And that will drop me down to still just above average, but as you can see, I can't hide it, okay? We're playing for a $5 million first prize with 14 left. Now, back to the range breakdown. I mean, Padilla here, 15 big blinds shoving at the hijack, and it's going to be folded to me in the big blind with the ace-jack, and it's just one of those hands that is a bit too high up in my range to fold. You know, I think with ace-9, you know, maybe ace-10 off even, you don't need to call. Ace-jack is going to be dominating those, you know, suited sourdough type hands like ace-5 suited or, you know, king-jack suited. Ace-10 off will shove at the hijack a lot here. So you just got to call. We see it as a massive flip. You see what it'll leave me behind, 2.33 million. The pot is 5 million. I mean, you know, I didn't get lucky against Shakurchi there holding with the ace-queen, and this is a big flip. He has a very loud Brazilian rail, and if we've learned anything from the Brazilians, they're passionate, and they're talented when it comes to poker. And the crowd goes wild, not in my favor. And, you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes, as that drops me to just over half average, still with 14 left. Now, this is another really, really interesting hand. I mean, I don't think you want to make it a habit at the 160 big blind level here to be reshoving over a cutoff open with the ace-8. You got 2 players behind that can wake up. You have to be pretty confident that your opponent opening was prepared to open quite tight. And this is a great example of, you know, even if your instincts are on point, and my instinct about Talal Shakurchi was he's very spot selective more than hand selective, likes to find little inflection points he can make chips. So I was right about Talal, was opening just the 6-4 offsuit. I did shove the ace-8, but I ran into the ace-jack of Kalilis. And, you know, got to tip the cap to Ramon. You know, to reshove that ace-jack over a raise and a shove at this stage of the tournament with 14 players left, it is Kalilis' effective stack. I mean, that is really understanding and breaking down the ranges in a lot of ways even better than I am in this spot, to know that I'm prepared to reshove light because of what Talal is capable of. And again, you know, I just don't have the same Counter-Strike sniping ability as I used to, as I was looking for that 10 on the river. And, you know, Talal's camp is very happy and a very cool and collected little nod. And I hope it turns out well for him if I don't win it. And here we go again. Now I'm really going to have trouble on the come up here. 115,000 chips beside Bencher. They just put me out of my misery.
I win this one.
But you never know. You know, could do a little run up. Let's see if Padilla is a good candidate for that. I think is obviously going to want to continue here with the king queen. Going to get my good friend in the big blind there out for Reed Jatton.
Okay.
And we are all here for a flip. Very similar to the ace-jack against the 4s. And a little chit-chatter, not a huge amount at stake for Padilla here, so able to have some fun. And now a 3-9 king or queen will send me packing. And some winking back and forth. It's a nice little recess, little you know, so an opportunity to just like, okay, yeah, it's my tournament life, but it's for so little for him, and you know, I'm my 2 feet out the door as I chirp the rail, and yeah, that's the great thing about poker. Even though when you're playing for millions of dollars, you can have some moments of levity, and there I am, stern face at this next hand, trying to break down Talal Shakurchi's range here. You know, I'm sitting there with about 4 big blinds. I know that Talal, playing shorthanded like this, is capable of raising. I'm thinking this king-9 is probably slightly behind Talal's range, but, you know, I'm going to run out of opportunities. Once it hits the big blind here with the big blind ante, that's going to be over half my stack in the middle. So, you know, I am proud in a results-oriented kind of way that I was right about breaking down Talal's range. And this is a great opportunity here to get up to 10 big blinds. And, you know, I got to say, re-watching these videos, obviously so much had to go right for me to get into this position, and I'm so grateful for that as I plead to Padilla's rail to give me some support in my time of need. But, yeah, you know, I did get pretty unlucky down the stretch with some of these all-ins, and it can happen. You know, the ace-jack to the queens. the 4s to the ace-jack. And that's going to happen, you know. A lot of the times when you bust deep into a tournament, that's, you know, some things are going to go not your way. As I'm praying for a king here now. Just please let me keep playing. I'm having so much fun. And the ace on the river is going to send me home. And that is going to be the end of it. So yeah, listen, all in all, a really incredible tournament to be a part of. I cashed for almost $250,000 just for finishing 14th, which is, you know, a field of over 1,000 and a 25K buy-in. Such a special event. So excited for the next one. You know, there's going to be a lot of players playing their first event of this magnitude, and I hope, you know, breaking down some of those ranges gives you a sort of understanding of how to put yourself in those shoes. A lot of the all-ins deeper in the tournament are going to be in those kind of situations where you have to make tough decisions and really break down the ranges. And, you know, sometimes you're just going to walk into it. Sometimes you're going to get unlucky. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just going to be such a fun event to be a part of, and a really special thing. So, hey, listen, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you guys next time.